Ricky Carmichael, looking to win his third consecutive 125 title today, is in our Suzuki starting grid along with Volland, Way, Casey Lytle. There you see Brock Sellards, the only rider who hasn't been mathematically eliminated from the 125 championship. But Ricky Carmichael needs to pick up only 2 more points on Brock Sellards to win that third consecutive crown and join the illustrious company of Brock Lover and Mark Barnett, the only other 2 to win 3 125 titles in their career. The track is in great condition here at Broome-Tioga. The 40-rider field for the 125s are getting all set to go. The opening moto of the day. Fans are not only wanting to see if Ricky Carmichael can get back his winning ways, but also see if Ron Khanna can continue his improvement since his injury. And Nick Way, of course, coming off a great win in the last event. Talon Volland, also a winner over Ricky Carmichael this year. Can he do it again? Can Brock Sellards do it again? Number 27, Brock Sellards, though, is riding with a shoulder injury he received in the off week. Ricky Carmichael, our points leader, as you see here over Brock Sellards. Michael Brandis, number 5 on the list, is not racing today because of an injury in practice at Millville. He is still not recovered from that injury. Moto number 1, all set to go. 30-second car to sideways. Can Ricky Carmichael get a better start here today? Whoa, he goes up near the edge. And it's David Pingree, number 60 on the Primal Suzuki, that got the whole shot, but coming out of the turn was Ricky Carmichael. Carmichael finally gets a good start after having all kinds of problems in the last 3 races.
Somebody going wide out there. Looks like one of the split fire riders. Carmichael had the perfect line, getting into the corner, was able to hold it tight, came out with the whole shot as Pingree drifted a little bit wide, but I'm surprised as wide as Pingree drifted, he was still able to hang on to second, so he was on the power hard.
Tough luck break for Nick Way, who was off the track. That was number 23 you saw there, David, who had to go off the track. You're right, it was a split fire pro circuit rider. Way coming off that victory, but a slow start here today. Ricky Carmichael right where he wants to be to win a championship.
It's an odd thing when you've been getting lousy starts, especially as many as he's had lately, and all of a sudden you get a hole shot and it feels like your first national, and you're like, what do I do? It's a little bit of an adjustment to have the track all to yourself. You're the first guy to hit the water section. You see him looking back, see who's going to challenge him, if anybody.
That's Pingree, number 60. Pingree getting good starts lately, as we said before. Is not really putting a challenge to Ricky. Whoa, what a speed shot. Ricky now just trying to break out and leave the pack. Going into the last 4 races this season, he had terrific reason for great confidence, winning 13 of 16 motos and 7 out of 8 rounds. But then the bad starts started going from excitement for the fans to see him come through the crowd to crashes. And then it started working on his mind, David.
Especially if it happens for too long. Anybody can recuperate from a couple of bad weeks, but he was just getting bad starts every time and then trying to make up for it, going so hard in the opening lap or the first couple of laps, going down more, and then you have a confidence problem.
So he doesn't have to worry about it right now out in front. That would be 1 point more than he needs to sew up the title if he stays there. So Ricky Carmichael is our leader. Pingree, Ramsey, Volland, and Brock Sellards the top 5. We'll be right back. AMA Motocross is brought to you by Honda Motorcycles and the 1999 Honda Race Team. Honda, ride red. And by Championship Motocross featuring Ricky Carmichael. So real you'll be picking your teeth out of the dirt for the PlayStation game console, now available wherever video games are sold. We're back to the action here in the opening moto of the 125s from Binghamton, upstate New York. The real battle right now is for third. Talon Volland, FMF Honda, Nathan Ramsey making a little mistake there on the pro circuit machine. Volland moving into third place behind Pingree.
That worked perfect, just staying out in the loam. Usually you want to get down and protect the inside. That's what Ramsey was trying to do. But you can see all the loam they have here. That's what Talon took advantage of. This is the best condition I've ever seen this racetrack.
So it's Ricky Carmichael, Pingree, and Volland the top 3 with Ramsey in 4th.
Now watch Ramsey. He's going to go to the inside. It's the logical line, but as Volland goes to the outside, that's where all the loose dirt, all the loam's gotten pushed wide. Look at that big berm out there. So as soon as Ramsey gets on the gas, It's a rock base with no traction. Volland hooks up, makes the pass.
Boy, I can see what you mean about the lack of rocks right now, David. It's impossible, of course, like in Unadilla, to get all your rocks out of that property in upstate New York, but they've done a tremendous job on the surface area. Here's Talon Volland now, working on second place. Pingree trying to hold on after the good hole shot start. Volland moves into second.
That was tight. I didn't think he's going to have room, because Pingree could tell he was going to try to square him off right there, and I thought he didn't leave enough room between himself and the tree. Volland just muscled his way in there like he always does and made it work.
Now can he catch RC, who was at the corner of the screen when you saw Volland take that turn. RC was really putting the old throttle down to get away from these guys.
He's still got him in his sights, though, and the way that another thing I like that they've done here is they've trimmed all the trees up. They did that at Mount Morris as well, so the spectators have a great view, and at times the riders have a better view, and they can see where the guy is they're trying to catch.
Nick Way trying to get back up into contention now as we see Andy Harrington, a privateer out of the San Diego area, El Cajon actually, and that's Ernesto Fonseca. Fonseca going to the outside to Harrington, and Fonseca, can he clamp it? Ernesto Fonseca has moved up another notch. Here's Casey Lytle, currently in 7th place, a teammate of Ernesto's on that Yamaha of Troy team.
He's next in line. Ernesto's moving up. Way is right there pushing these guys. And Harrington is probably a little bit tough to pass because these guys don't ride around him that much, but when he gets a good start, he's so aggressive. At times he can be all over the place, but you got to hand it to him. You got to be aggressive. Look at him here, just trying to come right back. He doesn't give up.
Harrington is thought of by many to be a very promising potential for the future. And look at this. Harrington bumping with Ernesto Fonseca.
He's not intimidated. But that little confrontation they had allows Way to get up in there, and now Fonseca can see him.
So Nick Way, taking advantage of the break, is now sandwiched between the two. Take another look at the move.
Well, what's going to happen here is Fonseca is going to have to use that big Burmese square, and he's going to try to come straight back up the hill, but Harrington's on that slick stuff. I mean, their lines are just going to collide. There's nothing he can do about it. He doesn't mean to hit him. He just couldn't turn sharper. When they hit each other, they lost a little bit of momentum, and then Nick Way got a little advantage and made another pass. These guys are still having a great battle, and they still got Lilo right up there in their sights.
Bump and run action. Back in the pack as Ricky Carmichael still holds a good lead on Talon Volland.
That's a classic.
Yellow flag. That's Casey Lytle who went down, and now Fonseca goes down. Harrington gets by. There's run cut at number 22.
So just about the whole Yamaha of Troy team gets held up right there. Eric Kehoe is about 100 yards from where that just took place, going, come on, guys, don't mess each other up. That's exactly what happened.
Ernesto Fonseca back up and running. That's Travis Preston right in front of him, one of the more promising privateers on the circuit, also getting by Fonseca when he went down. But Nick Way now is starting to rip.
Oh, he's going fast all right, but the problem is although he was tough and was in the right place at the right time to take advantage of 7th place, there's no 6th place isn't even in his sight. So he's going to have to be patient here and keep clicking off fast laps, hopefully, and get somebody in his sights so he can charge and try to pass before the race is over. But
or before Carmichael catches up with him.
To lap him, yeah.
As it looks like Carmichael, the way he's running right now, is going to catch quite a few riders. Ricky Carmichael is leading our opening moto.
Look at his pace. Look how fast he gets around that corner. Feet on the pegs, all the way up and over that jump. It's just doesn't even use it as a jump. It's just another little bump in the way.
Carmichael looking flawless out in front, is starting to just check out. And we'll be back with more of the 125 First Moto from Broome-Tioga right after these words. We're back with more motocross action from upstate New York. It is round 11, and Ricky Carmichael, number 1 on the Split Fire Pro Circuit machine, is looking to nail down his 3rd consecutive 125 championship. And that's in 3 years.
He's making it look easy, too. The lines he's chosen. There's Preston, it looks like, and...
Is that Fonseca again? No, that's Casey Lytle again.
That's the same corner he had problems before. A little off-camber section before they come around to the mechanics area. This time, at least he didn't take out a teammate.
Ron Cotta now in 7th. While we're away, just passing Nick Way. And Way, it looked like had it pretty easy there for a while, David, but certainly not now.
Well, I thought he might it'd be tough for him to stay focused because he didn't have anybody up the track to look for. Just focus on lap times from his mechanic, try to ride hard, get a better start in the next moto, but now he's got Ron Cotta there to chase.
Ron Cotta trying to prove himself before the season's over because he was hampered by injuries most of the year. But he's looking like past Ron Cotta form, really, with 2 second places in the last 3 races, a 4th in the one at Washougal, also getting a whole shot. He's gained a certain amount of consistency, David.
He has, and it's a good time to do it towards the end of the season. You want that not just for contracts or for your own deals, but just for your confidence going into the next year and some of the off-season races.
They're starting to catch up with Brock Sellards, we mentioned. Sellards, with the weekend off last week, went over the bars at Frozen Ocean, dislocated his shoulder. Let's check in with Davey.
Dean, how bad is that shoulder hurting Brock?
I went back to the hospital last night, and the doctor said he may have separated his collarbone from his shoulder blade. And so he said he can't really hurt it any worse. He's going to be sore, so he's going to have to ride under pain. So we're just trying to salvage points. I know he's sore right now, but keeps it in his corner to keep wanting to lay it down. But I just told him halfway to help him hold on not so tight, have a loose grip, and he should make it. Just try to salvage some points.
The only rider that Ricky hasn't eliminated, but sometimes those races for fun on the off weeks can turn into tragedy.
Yep, and the practice these guys do during the week, especially if you get a few of them together and daring each other to do things and jump stuff, I mean, that always goes on.
And Ron Cotta easily gets by Brock Sellards.
Didn't put up much of a fight there. I mean, this is salvaging points, and salvaging points doesn't mean trying to go the pace of Ron Cotta.
Ron Cotta and Fonseca re-upping with Yamaha of Troy. They'll be back next year. Brock Sellards, he's already re-signed with FMF.
It's a courageous performance right here from Brock. He's trying to salvage second in the point standings. He's got to go out there and just tough it through. It's got to hurt, though. I mean, I never had a shoulder injury, but plenty of injuries where I had to ride in pain with my feet and so forth, and no fun.
David Pingree still holding on to Talon Volland, second and third. Pingree has had many ups and downs over his career, but it looks like it's back of the upswing now.
It just started for me just trail riding with my father up in the hills in Montana. I had a Weisinger, a little Pee-wee 50, and we just go up for fun, our whole family. And a friend of his had boys that raced, and we went out and watched one of those and then said, let's give it a shot. And it just turned into something that our family loved, and we've kept with it.
Pingree started showing professional potential in his first year of amateur 125 intermediates.
Had some good finishes, and actually some of the factories were talking to me, and I was like, wow, I might have some potential here.
Little did he know then the challenges that would test his desire and character.
96, I had an accident that was terrible, broke my femur, tore up my knee, broke my hand. I mean, it was pretty ugly, and I considered, just getting back into school or doing something different, and, you can always go back to college at any time, but racing's something you got to do when you're young, and I just loved it too much to let it go.
Coming back to win the 125 Minneapolis Supercross confirmed his decision. But once again, earlier this year, his love for the sport was tested.
Right at the second round, separated my shoulder. And it just really, it's frustrating, because it takes you out of the points race. You lose fitness, so your speed's off, your endurance is off, and I mean, it takes a while to come back.
David Pingree on the comeback, once again showing us he doesn't give up easily. And look at this. Pingree has drawn up to the rear tire of Talon Volland.
That's not easy to do. His Talon is 100% everywhere, every lap, and he's proven he's got the speed. He's as fast as Carmichael, if not faster at times, and Pingree has closed the gap, so Pingree is riding well.
Talon Volland, his exciting self once again in second place. Just off signing a 2-year deal with Pro Circuit. That was a surprise to a lot of people. FMF brought him over from Europe. Really gave him an opportunity to get back to his homeland, and then all of a sudden he looked so good this season, was so marketable and so good for the sport that he had other people interested in his services. Here's our top 10. Carmichael, Volland, Pingree. The top 3 remains Ernesto Fonseca back up into the top 10. We'll be right back with more 125 action. Time running out here in the opening moto, but time is not running out. Polish up the crown for this guy. He's on his way to winning his third 125 national championship. An insurmountable lead for Ricky Carmichael here in the opening moto. Acknowledged by the fans. They're cheering him on as he nears the final lap.
Look how fast he's going. Final lap pace is still fast enough to maintain a lead over Volland and Pingree, who are involved in a huge battle, pushing each other. They've gained slightly, but I think it's only because RC's let them.
Yeah, and there's several riders out on the track that RC has passed. They're just happy to be on the same track with him.
It's always, I mean, my first years as a professional, to see Hannah and Howerton and those guys coming by to lap me, it was always like, wow. And I'd try to follow him and do the same line for a couple of laps, or actually a couple of turns until he disappeared.
It's impossible to compare different eras. But from what we see of Ricky Carmichael over the past 3 seasons, he has to be at least one of your top candidates as the greatest of all time in the 125 ranks.
Sure, that's been the talk, of course, with him closing in on the record. If he can get it, the final race at Delmont, he will tie Mark Barnett. And I actually kind of like it that way, because if he was to win it and get one more win, if people would say, oh, well, Carmichael's the greatest, and I don't necessarily agree. I think a lot of people will fight that forever. It's a different era. You can't compare Joe Namath with Joe Montana. It's just different now.
But he's the best there is in the 125 ranks right now, and what a triumphant feeling it must be for this young man after, over the last couple of races, having some real problems getting himself up off the dirt. The checkers and the championship for Ricky Carmichael. Talon Volland in second place. Pingree holds on to third, with Ramsey and McCormick rounding out our top 5. Let's go down to Davey.
Well, Ricky, that's it. Congratulations, 3 championships.
I tell you what, Davey, it feels good. Man, I've had like an upset stomach all day, and halfway through the race, I kind of had to go to the bathroom, so I slowed down, and it was just like torture, man. It's like, whew, it feels great, though. I'll tell you what, from the help from Kawasaki and Pro Circuits, I tell you what, and all my sponsors, Fox, Oakley, THQ, Championship Motocross, and I'll tell you what, man, this feels great. Troy Lee Designs, and I'm ecstatic, man. It's been waiting. It's kind of been a struggle the last couple weekends, and it feels great.
Well, this might feel a little bit better. I'm going to bring in Duke Finch right here from the AMA. Ricky, congratulations on your 3-peat.
Thank you. Thanks. I'll tell you what, it feels good. I like to thank Mazda, too. I also got a Mazda truck. Bridgestone Tires, everybody who helped me get here, man. My mom and dad, and my mechanic, Chad Watts, Johnny O, and I'll tell you what, man, this is great.
Finally, one more moto to go.
One more, I'll tell you what. I was out in California last week testing, and Mitch was busting his butt, and we got a bike that is just hauling butt, and I think he proved that by pulling the whole shot. It feels great.
Well, with still a record on the line, you know he's not going to mail in the second moto. And there's one guy that's not going to let him, and that's Talon Volland. Let's go back down to Davey now in that winner's area.
Talon, good ride.
Thank you. You know, I started off 4th, and Ricky obviously got the whole shot. You know, I told everybody and predicted I'd be back at this race, and I haven't got as much training as I'd like, but I really worked hard when I could, and I think that it's paid off. The only thing I lacked is still a little bit of time on the bikes. My arms pumped up in the middle of that moto. I felt my speed was the same. And, you know, next month, these last 2 races, it's not like I'm racing for the championship now. So I'm not giving up for anything. I'm going for it. I'll hang out. So I hope next month I get off with him. I'm going to pass him.
The never give up Talon Volland, that's for sure. David Pingree put in quite a race. In fact, it was his best moto finish of the season. So let's go right back down to Davey.
Well, David, I got to tell you, that might have been your best outdoor ride ever. Congratulations, you got on the podium.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It feels real good, Davey. It's been a long time since I've had a finish that I've been happy with. You know, Troy was 5th overall, but still wasn't the moto results I was looking for, you know, so this is definitely a step in the right direction.
You were racing with Talon Volland out there that whole moto. I actually started to think, well, he might get a little tired, but in the end, I think you actually had the speed.
Yeah, I felt strong, you know, I didn't get tired at all, and towards the end, I actually found a few lines and closed back up on him, and I wasn't able to really put a move on him, but definitely held the speed all the way to the end.
How do you feel about the last moto?
I feel fine. You know, I didn't get tired at all, and you know, I went back to California. I've been staying in Montana all summer, so I think getting back to the heat kind of helped me just get used to the strains of doing a 35-minute motos.